Hey everybody, Scott Welle. Hope you're having a great day. And this video is going to be on a continuation actually of the last video I created on mental toughness in running and how mental toughness and some of those principles can also carry over and can also help you a lot in life. Because again, you probably know my background's in sports psychology, and the same things that build confidence, that allow you to overcome obstacles, allow you to overcome adversity are very similar in sports and certainly in running as they are in everyday life. And one thing that I just wanted to elaborate on was just the whole process of what is mental toughness? We talked about this in the last video, and ultimately a lot of mental toughness is simply getting comfortable being uncomfortable. And I think about it, if you were to go and let's say you're watching Boston Marathon, New York City Marathon, or any marathon where you see one of the elite level runners, one of the people towards the front of the pack, and they look so fluid and so graceful, and it seems like everything is just happening so easy for them. Well, the fact of the matter is they're probably struggling a lot internally as far as what's actually going on inside of their body. But what they've done is they've simply learned to handle that discomfort better, or they've gotten comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's what really successful people in sports and in running and in life have ultimately learned to do. It's not that it always comes easy for them. It's not that it's simple to go out there and run 26.2 miles at whatever pace, but compare it to people that may be, let's say, middle of the pack or back of the pack of a marathon or any race distance that you're doing. And ultimately, you're going to find that those people are just mentally stronger and they're just able to handle that discomfort better. And part of it is really seeking that discomfort out. It's, again, I touched on this a little bit in the last video, but it's not avoiding that discomfort and kind of not wishing things would be easier. It's actually seeking it out. And to me, I'm actually going to bring it back to, one of the principles that we used to study when I kind of was doing fitness and was doing some sports physiology and things like that. We used to talk about the simplest principle you're ever going to come across. I know it because the acronym is GAS, so it's like, oh, the GAS principle. But the general adaptation syndrome, which it comes from way back in the day by a gentleman named Hans Selye. And the general adaptation syndrome, what it basically states is that stress plus rest equals adaptation. It's like, okay, well that sounds pretty simple, but what you need to think about is that by constantly stressing the body with a greater stimulus and then combining that with rest will lead to positive adaptation, and then vice versa. But if you're not constantly pushing yourself, if you're not seeking that out, if you're not constantly stressing the body with a greater stimulus than you have right now, well, you're never going to have that positive adaptation. You're always just going to stay wherever it is that you are right now. And I think that's a big thing to mental toughness. And this is something that you have to actually practice, and you have to embrace it in your workouts. You have to seek out that discomfort, because every time, let's just say that if we were to do like a scale, let's say that, on a continuum, your mental toughness is about here right now. Okay, well, if every workout you only push yourself to the point where you're just underneath that level or at that level right now, but not going a little bit past it and not positively stressing it, well, you're never going to grow and you're never going to adapt stronger than you are right now. So that's part of where simulating it in workouts and in races, where you really go out there and you get after it and you push yourself just a little bit more than you think you may be capable of going, that's what ultimately allows that positive adaptation. And you have to do it in practice. I said it in the last video, you don't bring it to the race, you're not going to find it out there. So it's ultimately something that you have to do in training. And I think about the whole process of, we call it association versus dissociation. And like the simplest way for me to explain dissociation is a lot of people listen to music when they run. And personally, I'll probably bolt out the door and listen to my iPod maybe 1 or 2 runs a week. But studies have been done on really high-level runners, and it's come back that they almost never listen to music when they run. And certainly I'm not condemning anyone for listening to music, but it's a method of dissociation, or it's a method of distracting you from what's actually going on physiologically or internally inside of your body. And actually, with some of the athletes that I work with on interval workouts, I've actually told them to not bring their music to the track when they're doing really hard intervals, because there is something to be said for really getting in tune with what's going on inside of your body and ultimately seeking out that discomfort and then knowing that you can embrace that and you can overcome it. But if you're constantly distracting yourself with other things, well, you're not really seeking that out and you're not really getting comfortable with it. So if you are someone that loves to listen to music when you run, and obviously I'm speaking to a population of runners right now where I'm not just talking about running for the general health and fitness and well-being and psychological reasons of running, I'm talking about running for the purpose of trying to get faster. If you are ultimately someone who is trying to get faster as a runner, who's trying to set a PR and is trying to get better, I would recommend leaving the iPod and leaving the music at home at least a couple runs a week, and try some of your harder runs where you're not listening to anything and you're really focusing in, I call it body scans, on top of your head all the way down to your heels, where you're doing a full body scan. How's your breathing? How's the tightness of your muscles? How does your body feel? Seek that out and embrace it, and then learn what level of discomfort you can get comfortable being uncomfortable with, and then push that just a little bit further, move that needle just a little bit more, and continue to do that. And what this does is this builds confidence like anything else in life. You move that needle just a little bit further than you have before, and then you end up bringing it to the race and everything changes. But I can promise you, if you just try to inch that up just a little bit more, think about that stress leading to that positive adaptation and moving that each time, you're going to be, again, amazed how mentally tough you are and amazed what you can accomplish. So this is Welle, as always, wishing you the best of health, happiness, and high performance.